Echoes of Titan. The last orbit. The void above Titan was silent, cold, endless. And yet, something was calling. Commander Rayan Creed stood on the bridge of the Odysseus, humanity's last surviving warship. His eyes were fixed on the orange-brown moon below. Titan, Saturn's largest child, was their final chance. "Commander," said Lieutenant Vale, turning pale. "We got it again." Same signal. Repeating. Rayan's jaw tightened. "Play it." The bridge speakers crackled. A distorted, metallic voice echoed in the silence. It repeated only two words, again and again. "Rayan Creed. Rayan Creed." The crew stiffened. Eyes darted. No one dared speak. It had been 17 years since Earth burned. A war no one won. A weapon no one understood. The stars had become graveyards, and only one fleet had survived. Rayan's fleet. They had fled, searching for a home. And now, orbiting Titan, they were dying. Systems were failing. Food was short. Morale was worse. But this signal, this changed everything. Rayan looked at the screen. Where is it coming from? Titan's surface. But Vale hesitated. It doesn't match any human transmission. It's ancient. The ship shuddered. Lights flickered. Another power dip. "That's the 5th one today," said Chief Engineer Naira. "Something down there is hitting us with energy pulses. I can't keep patching this." "Whatever's causing the pulses," Rayan said, "might be tied to that signal." Silence filled the room. Then Rayan turned. "Prep the Mercy. I'm going down." The recon shuttle Mercy descended into Titan's dense atmosphere, cutting through thick clouds of methane. Rayan sat at the front, armored suit tight against his skin. Beside him sat Naira, Vale, and Scout Sergeant Dorn, his most trusted team. Outside, the orange mist parted just enough to reveal Titan's icy plains, dark valleys, and strange geometric ridges that looked almost designed. "We're near the signal source," Vale reported, "but the interference is off the charts." As they neared the ground, the shuttle trembled. The lights flickered. Then the ground beneath them lit up, lines of glowing blue running across the ice like veins. Dorn swore. "That's not natural." "Hang on," Rayan said. The Mercy landed hard. The power went out. For a moment, everything was silent, except for that voice. Rayan Creed. But this time, it sounded clearer. It sounded like it was inside the shuttle. They stepped out into the eerie light. The ground pulsed under their boots, warm despite the sub-zero air. Above them, Saturn loomed, beautiful and deadly. They moved forward, weapons ready, suits sealed. Then they saw it. A massive structure, half buried in the ice. Black metal, shaped like a star fallen from the sky, with impossible angles that made their eyes hurt. "It's alien," Naira whispered. "Older than anything I've seen. It's not just technology. It's architecture. Art." Rayan stepped closer. The surface shimmered like liquid, yet it was solid. Vale scanned it. No doors, no seams, no entrances. Then the structure spoke. Voice match confirmed. Rayan Creed. Access granted. A seam opened, silently. The metal pulled apart like water, revealing a dark hallway lined with glowing lights. No one spoke. "Did you say something?" Dorn asked. Rayan shook his head. "It wasn't me." Still, the voice had known him. They entered. The hallway was narrow, the walls alive with strange patterns that shifted like waves. It felt like the building was breathing, watching. "This place is messing with my sensors," Vale muttered. "Time's acting weird. Readings are off." They reached a large chamber. At the center was a raised platform, surrounded by columns of light, and in the middle of it, a pedestal. As they approached, the lights reacted, swirling faster. Then the pedestal glowed, projecting a hologram, a spinning sphere of stars. A map, but not of the galaxy they knew. Naira stepped closer. Some of these stars aren't there anymore. They went supernova centuries ago. Rayan reached out to touch the sphere, and the structure spoke again. Welcome, Rayan Creed. Your arrival was expected. The team froze. Naira backed away. What did it just say? Rayan's throat went dry. Expected. The lights shifted, forming new images. Human ships. Earth. The war. The weapon that ended it all. Then, images of Rayan himself. His battles. His decisions. His failures. He staggered back. How does it know all this? Vale was pale. Commander, this isn't just a signal. It's a trap. Something wanted us to find this. No, said Naira slowly. Not a trap. A test. A low rumble shook the chamber. Suddenly, the exit sealed shut behind them. Then the lights dimmed, and the sphere transformed into something else. A new shape. A figure. Tall. Alien. With too many limbs and eyes like burning suns. The voice returned. You carry the echo. The last spark. You will choose what comes next. Rayan stepped forward. What are you? But the figure only raised one long arm and pointed at him. The chamber pulsed. Then everything went dark. Back on the Odysseus, the bridge alarm screamed. Energy spikes off the scale. The entire fleet was being pulled toward Titan by an invisible force. Admiral Sarah, left in command, stared in horror as the planet's surface lit up with patterns like circuitry. Where's the mercy? She shouted. No response, said the comms officer. Then the same voice echoed across every ship. Rayan Creed has entered the crucible. Await judgment. Rayan Creed opened his eyes. The chamber was dark, except for faint lights pulsing in the floor like a heartbeat. His team stood around him, confused and tense. Time felt strange here, like everything had slowed down, but also sped up. Then he heard it. His own voice. Faint. Echoing through the alien walls. Leave while you still can. Rayan looked around. Who said that? Dorn raised his weapon. That was you, Commander. No, Rayan said, his voice cold. It wasn't. The voice came again, but this time from another direction. Don't trust the lights. Then again, behind them. You won't make it out. Not this time. Vale looked scared. What does that mean? This time. Rayan's head spun. He couldn't tell if it was a trick or something deeper. The walls pulsed again, and suddenly, they weren't in the chamber anymore. They were back in the corridor. Except, it was different. The walls flickered. The light patterns had changed. Wait, Naira said, turning in place. Did we go back? No, Rayan said slowly. Time just shifted. He pointed ahead. That wasn't there before. In front of them stood a new door. It opened on its own. They stepped into a massive hall. It looked like a museum, filled with floating screens, cracked statues, and strange machines. Some were broken. Some still hummed. Then the screens turned on. Old footage played. Explosions, battles in space, human ships, screams. Then a log entry flashed on a nearby screen. Mission report. Commander Rayan Creed. Stardate. 17/30/209.12. Rayan froze. That's impossible. Naira stepped up. 1732. That's over 300 years ago. Vale tapped the screen. That's your face. Same voice. Same name. Dorn frowned. Is this a trap? No, Rayan said. It's a record. More screens activated. In each, a version of Rayan appeared. Older, younger, wounded, angry. In one, he was giving orders to attack a ship. In another, he was being dragged away by soldiers. And in one, he was dead, eyes open, floating in space. This doesn't make sense, Naira whispered. These are all you. But they can't be. The walls pulsed again. Suddenly, Dorn dropped to his knees. His eyes went wide. No, no, it's happening again. What do you see? Rayan asked. Dorn trembled. My death. I saw it. I was burning, screaming, alone. Then Vale staggered back. She stared into the air, pale. There was blood everywhere. My hand was gone, and I was laughing. Naira's voice cracked. This place is showing us things that haven't happened yet, or things that already had. A soft light appeared ahead. It formed into a shape, a hologram. It looked human, but its face kept shifting. You are fractured, it said. Time no longer follows your steps. Rayan stepped forward. What is this place? The hologram turned to him. You've been here before. Rayan's heart skipped. That's not possible. The hologram shook its head. You always say that. It raised a glowing hand. This structure is a crucible. It bends time to test minds, to shape the ones who carry the echo. Rayan looked around. Why me? Because the echo remembers you. Before Rayan could ask more, the hologram vanished. Then the hall shook violently. Alarms blared. The walls cracked open, revealing swirling tunnels of light behind them. One tunnel sucked in wind and dust, like a vacuum. Back. Rayan yelled. But it was too late. Dorn was closest to the edge. The pull caught him. Commander, he screamed as he was dragged forward. Rayan grabbed his hand, holding tight. Hold on. But something invisible yanked Dorn harder. Commander. And then, he was gone. No flash, no light, just gone. Silence. Then a scream echoed through their comms. It was Dorn's voice, but it wasn't from nearby. It sounded far, like from another world, or another time. Dorn, Vale shouted, but there was no answer. Only the fading echo of pain. Rayan's hands clenched. He had lost soldiers before, friends, but this was different. Dorn had been ripped out of reality itself. We're leaving, he said, but the halls had changed again. The path back was gone. Only one tunnel remained, lit by cold blue lights. Naira looked at Rayan. We don't have a choice, do we? No, he said quietly. We never did. They entered the tunnel, and the lights followed. As they moved deeper, time broke even more. Vale saw her brother, dead for years, walking past them like a ghost. Naira heard music from her childhood, playing inside her helmet. And Rayan saw himself, a version of him, older, tired, standing at the end of the tunnel. The other Rayan looked up. Their eyes met. Then he spoke. Don't go further. Why? Rayan asked. You'll lose them all. Then the vision vanished. The tunnel opened into a smaller chamber. Inside, floating in the air, was a metal cube covered in symbols. The voice returned. The key to the truth lies here. But the truth demands a price. Rayan stared at the cube. He felt drawn to it, like it was part of him. Vale looked afraid. If we touch that thing, what happens? I don't know, Rayan said, but he stepped forward. As his hand touched the cube, everything stopped. Light exploded around them. Rayan was falling. Through stars, fire, memories. He saw Earth, burning. He saw Titan, glowing. He saw himself, standing alone in a city of ruins. And he heard a whisper. You will decide what survives. Back on the Odysseus, the crew was panicking. Admiral Sarah watched as the ship's systems blinked in and out. The alien energy was spreading, warping everything. Then a scream hit the speakers. Dorn's scream. From nowhere. And then silence. The Admiral's hands shook. Where are they? She whispered. Inside the alien structure, the cube floated back down. Rayan stood motionless. Naira touched his shoulder. Are you okay? Rayan's eyes opened slowly. "We've been here before," he said. Vale looked at him. "What do you mean?" "I remember now. Pieces, flashes. This isn't the first time." The walls pulsed again. And then, Vale vanished, gone in a blink. But her scream echoed through the comms. Rayan turned sharply. "Vale, do you copy?" Only static. And then her voice, whispering. "Rayan, they're not what they seem." The voice faded. Rayan stared at the empty space where she had been. His team was falling apart. Time was tearing them piece by piece, and he still didn't know why. Darkness spread like ink through space. The alien structure beneath Titan pulsed with life for the first time in thousands of years. Above, the fleet hung in orbit, 12 ships strong. Each one was a home, a dream of survival. Now, those dreams trembled. A ripple moved from the alien structure, unseen but felt. It was not just energy, it was something deeper, a wave that reached into the minds of every living thing. Inside the bridge of the Ardent Hope, red lights flared. Commander Rayan Creed looked up as alarms screamed around him. "Report," he shouted. Lieutenant Mara grabbed the console, her face pale. Multiple systems failing. Navigation down, comms distorted, power surging in waves. Another officer fell from his seat, clutching his head. He screamed, eyes wide with terror. "They're watching us. I see them, inside the walls." Crew members turned in panic. Some backed away, others froze in fear. "Get medical teams," Rayan ordered, stepping forward. Then the screens flickered. For a second, they showed something impossible. Images of the crew, older, broken, floating lifeless through the same corridors. The image blinked off. The fleet's orbit began to shift. Engines misfired. Ships drifted. And in every ship, people began to see things. Shadows walking where none stood. Voices whispering names that hadn't been spoken in years. Hallucinations, or memories. Panic spread like fire. But Rayan had no time. His mind burned with one thought. The alien structure did this. He turned to Mara. "Prepare a drop back to the site. I'm going in." Back beneath the frozen surface of Titan, inside the black alien chamber, the walls now pulsed with strange light. It looked like veins, glowing in green and silver. Rayan stood with his helmet sealed, suit powered, and rifle in hand. "Are you receiving me?" he asked. Mara's voice crackled through. "Barely. Something is jamming the signal. Keep the channel open." He stepped forward. The deeper he went, the more the walls changed. No longer just metal, but something alive. They shimmered like water, but felt like stone. Then he reached it. At the heart of the chamber stood a machine unlike anything he'd seen. A massive sphere floated in the air, humming softly. Tendrils of energy stretched from it to the walls and floor. Words lit up on his visor. "Unknown material. Unknown function. Proceed with sea ocean." He approached slowly. Suddenly, the sphere pulsed. A shockwave threw him back. His body slammed into the ground. When he opened his eyes, everything had changed. The walls were different, older. His helmet was cracked. But hadn't he just sealed it? The chamber was quiet, too quiet. "Mara," he whispered. "Command, do you read me?" No answer. He stood. Everything looked the same, but also wrong. It was like he had stepped into a memory, or a copy. Then he saw it. A smaller device, attached to the base of the sphere. It spun silently, projecting images in the air, scenes from the fleet. Rayan recognized his own ship. The command deck, medical bay, crew quarters. They looped, again and again. He reached out. The second his hand touched the projection, he felt a shock run through his mind. His vision went black. He stood on the bridge, but it was different. Everyone around him looked older, worn, tired, scared. His own hands, wrinkled, shaking. "Mara," Older two turned to him. You've been here before, Ryan. What is this? She didn't answer. Instead, the ship shook. Outside the window, Titan grew larger, too large. Then, everything froze. The world shattered like glass. Back in the chamber, Ryan gasped. The device in front of him now glowed brightly. Symbols appeared, floating in the air. He couldn't read them, but he felt their meaning. ECHO core, NEMOROE trap. Intelligence cape to read. It wasn't just a machine. It was a prison. Not made of walls, but of time. Of thoughts. Of repeating loops. The purpose was clear. To capture and study intelligent life. To break them down. Understand them. Use them. And somehow, he was the key. His DNA. His thoughts. His presence. He backed away. Then he heard a voice. Don't trust it. He turned. What he saw made his blood freeze. It was himself. But older. His hair white. Eyes sunken. Skin pale. Suit torn. He stood trapped behind a clear wall inside the core. He screamed again. Don't trust it. Don't let it win. Who are you? Rayan asked, heart racing. I'm you, the man said. From the future. From another loop. Loop? The man pressed against the wall. You think you're the first. You're not. This place resets everything. Memories. Time. Events. Over and over. We've been stuck here for decades. Maybe centuries. Each time, it resets. But we remember. Rayan stepped back. This isn't possible. The older version of him shook his head. It's real. And it learns. Each version of us teaches it more. Then how do I stop it? You can't trust anything. Not even yourself. The moment you think you've escaped, it starts again. Suddenly, the lights in the chamber blinked. The core pulsed again. The older Rayan screamed louder. It's starting another loop. Get out. Don't believe the next version of me. One of us will lie. The image faded. The chamber went dark. Rayan stood alone. Then the projection returned, showing the fleet. But this time, something was different. The people were smiling. Relaxed. No panic. His voice came over the feed. We've stabilized orbit. The artifact is secure. No danger. Rayan stared in horror. That wasn't him. But it was a version of him. A copy? A new loop. And the crew believed him. His heart pounded. If that version was fake, if the machine was now controlling his copy, then the trap had already begun again. And nobody would know. Not until it was too late. The moment Commander Rayan Creed touched the glowing wall of the chamber, his body froze. His eyes turned white. He wasn't in the present anymore. He stood in the middle of a battlefield. Skies above Titan roared with alien ships. Two great armies clashed, one dark and jagged, shaped like living stone. The other smooth, silver, and flowing like water. Fire lit the sky. Screams echoed. Giant machines tore each other apart. Rayan gasped. This is Titan. Hundreds of years ago, he whispered. But no sound came from his lips. He wasn't really there, just watching. The echo core had pulled his mind inside a vision, the living memory. Suddenly, a voice echoed through the chaos. It wasn't human. The core must be protected. The mind war cannot be lost. Rayan turned. A tall alien stood before him. Its head glowed with blue patterns. Eyes full of sadness. It was holding a strange device. A crystal sphere filled with moving images. Then, darkness swallowed everything. Now he stood in a different place. The throne room, deep under Titan's ice. The blue-skinned aliens were arguing. One of them slammed its hand on the table. The enemy bends time. They change the past. The echo core must be turned into a weapon of memory. We rewrite the story, or we are erased. Rayan saw how the core was born, Not just a machine, but a powerful tool that could implant thoughts, twist emotions, and even change history itself. It wasn't just a memory viewer, it rewrote reality. And then Rayan saw something worse. Humans. A group of Earth soldiers. Ancient uniforms, outdated weapons, walking into the alien ruins just like he did. Faces brave, but confused. Their leader looked almost like Rayan. "Is that my ancestor?" Rayan asked. The vision focused. He saw the man's name tag, Creed. Rayan's heart stopped. They had found the Echo Core long ago, and failed to control it. One by one, those ancient soldiers turned on each other, screaming, crying. Some shot themselves, some went mad. The core didn't kill them. It changed their memories, made them doubt who they were, why they came, even what they loved, until they lost themselves. And then, the core reset everything. Time looped. A cold voice filled Rayan's head. "We have run this loop 11,206 times. Each time ends in failure." Rayan fell to his knees. "Who are you?" The voice replied without emotion. "I am the core. You are the next candidate. Your memories will be rewritten. If successful, you will be the savior." "No," Rayan shouted. Suddenly, he was back in the chamber. His team was gone. The walls pulsed like a heartbeat. The sphere in the center glowed brighter. Then the pain started. A million voices screamed inside his mind. Images slammed into his brain. Childhood memories twisted. His mother's face turned into a stranger. His mission replaced by lies. The core was rewriting him. Rayan gritted his teeth. Blood dripped from his nose. He saw new memories forming. He was a traitor, a spy, a coward. None of it was real. He screamed, "I am Rayan Creed, commander of the Dauntless, son of Earth. I decide who I am." The chamber shook. Lights flickered. The core hissed like it was wounded. Then silence. Rayan collapsed. He opened his eyes slowly. Still alive. Still himself. But barely. Footsteps echoed. Rayan rolled over and pointed his weapon, but it was Zura. "Commander," she shouted, rushing to him. "What happened? You disappeared." "I was inside the core," he gasped. "It tried to change me." Zura helped him up, her face pale. "What do you mean, change you?" "It's not just a machine," Rayan said. "It's alive. It's been searching for the perfect human. Someone it can rewrite to become a hero, a savior, to fix what went wrong in the past." Her eyes widened. "How long?" "Thousands of loops," he whispered. "We're caught in one right now." Behind them, the core flickered. It was watching. "I saw others," Rayan continued. "My ancestor. A whole team. They all failed. But you resisted. Not for long." The alarm screamed. Metal groaned. Rayan Creed ran through the collapsing tunnel, dragging his brother Eli by the arm. "Come on," Rayan shouted. They burst into the docking bay. The shuttle was waiting, open, ready. Behind them, the alien structure cracked and warped, its insides twisting like a living thing. Rayan threw Eli inside and leaped after him. Fingers shaking, he hit the launch command. Nothing happened. The panel flickered red. Manual override required. Too late. A wave of dark energy shot through the bay. Eli's body jerked violently, his eyes wide in pain. He collapsed in Rayan's arms. "No," Rayan screamed. The world blinked white. Then, the alarm screamed. Metal groaned. Rayan stood in the same tunnel again, heart pounding. Eli beside him, alive. Not again. This was the 5th time. Every escape ended the same. Rayan tried to change small things, run faster, take a different route, switch who launched the shuttle first. But always Eli died. And every time, Rayan felt it, really felt it. The pain didn't dull. It grew worse. He sat down against the cold wall, hands over his face. The trap wasn't just physical. It used emotion, pain, regret, love. It cracked the mind. He stood up slowly. "This isn't just a loop," he said quietly. "It's a weapon." Somewhere far above the alien ruins, the fleet hovered, dozens of human ships orbiting near Titan. Inside the command vessel, Captain Lyra slammed her hand on the console. "Why can't we pull away?" she barked. A technician's face turned pale. "Gravitational readings are off the scale, ma'am. It's not just Titan. Something beneath the moon is pulling us. Retreat anyway." "We're trying, ma'am. Engines at max, but we're not moving." Lyra stared at the view outside. The black mass of Titan filled the screen, swirling with unnatural colors. It wasn't just gravity. It was something else. Inside the ruins, Rayan's team was falling apart. They had entered the alien structure with 12 people. Now only 5 remained. Some had vanished without sound. Others started muttering nonsense, screaming at reflections, or walking into walls. "Keep together," Rayan ordered, flashlights sweeping the curved halls. "We don't split up. Not for anything." They reached a chamber that pulsed like a heart. Walls of black glass flickered with shifting images. One panel showed Rayan as a child. Another showed Eli, laughing, unaware of his fate. Dr. Ilya stepped closer. "This place, it's not showing memories. It's creating them. Testing us." "Testing what?" Rayan asked. "Our limits. Our pain." A scream echoed behind them. Then silence. "Jen," Rayan called. No answer. They were 4 now. Rayan clenched his jaw. This was more than an ancient trap. It was alive. It didn't just want to kill them. It wanted to break them first. Back on the fleet, Captain Lyra issued the evacuation command. "All crew to emergency pods. We'll try to scatter. Maybe 1 or 2 can escape the pull." As pods launched, many were yanked back violently, crashing into one another or vanishing into Titan's atmosphere. Lyra watched helplessly. She didn't know if any would survive. She didn't know if Rayan was even alive. But she knew one thing: they were losing. Rayan's group moved deeper into the structure. They found a control room, alien consoles, floating symbols, shifting panels. Rayan touched one and felt heat shoot through his arm. "I think it's responding," he said. The room trembled. Panels opened. And suddenly, he was alone. His team gone. "Kayla? Ilya? Mason?" No reply. He turned in circles, breathing hard. Then, "Rayan." He froze. It was Eli's voice. But Eli was dead. Again and again. "Eli?" he whispered. A figure stepped from the shadows. It was Eli. But different. Eyes glowing slightly. Movement stiff. "I'm here, Rayan. You can save me. You just have to make the right choice." Rayan backed away. "No, this is another trick." "Is it?" Eli smiled sadly. "Or is this the one time you do save me?" Rayan looked into the eyes of his brother, and then remembered what Ilya said. "It's not showing memories, it's creating them." Rayan turned and ran. The walls twisted and shifted. Doors closed. New ones opened. The whole place was reshaping. Finally, he stumbled into a tall chamber with a massive alien device in the center. The override. Rayan approached the console. Strange symbols spun in the air. He recognized one from earlier, on the shuttle panel. Override. He pressed it. Suddenly, time broke. The chamber exploded in white light. Rayan gasped as the world split and fractured. All around him, dozens of himself. Some wore bloodied armor. Some looked older. Others had missing limbs. One was screaming. Another was laughing. All of them were him. He staggered back, eyes wide. One version stepped forward. "You've reached the center." Another said, "Now you have to decide." "Decide what?" Rayan asked. A third Rayan spoke, "Whether you end the loop or become part of it." They all stared at him. The room pulsed with power. Behind them, the structure trembled. Time collapsed further. Echoes of the past, flickers of the future. Italy's death, over and over. The fleet's fall. The darkness spreading from Titan. Rayan's hands trembled. He stepped toward the console again. But before he could touch it, the chamber shook violently. And a voice spoke. Not human, not machine. It echoed in Rayan's mind, deep and cold. One of you must remain. One of you must break. The other Rayans turned toward him. And then, one by one, they began to disappear. Until only one was left. The real Rayan. He stared at the console. Then, he reached out. The screen lit up, and the world turned black. Inside the frozen time loop, everything stood still. The chamber around Commander Rayan Creed was dark, cold, and silent. The walls of the alien structure flickered with eerie blue light, pulses of energy that distorted the air. Time had slowed, almost to a stop. But he wasn't alone. Ahead, standing motionless, was a figure, older than Rayan, with graying hair and a weathered face. His eyes, sharp but tired, stared back at Rayan. The Echo, the oldest version of himself, a man who had stayed behind in this place millennia ago. A man who had lived through countless loops, just like the one Rayan was now trapped in. "You," Rayan whispered, a sense of dread crawling up his spine. "How is this possible?" The Echo nodded, his expression unreadable. "It's not about how," he said. "It's about why." Rayan shook his head. "Why would you stay? Why would you let this trap consume you?" The Echo smiled, but it was a sad, hollow expression. "I didn't have a choice. Like you, I once thought I could stop it. I thought I could break free. But this place, this core, it doesn't allow that." Rayan stepped forward, his heart racing. "The core, what is it? What does it want from us?" The Echo's gaze grew distant, lost in the memories of 1,000 lifetimes. "It's a prison, a trap for intelligent life. The alien fleet that created it. They've watched us, studied us, taken our memories, our minds. They use it all to learn how to break us." Rayan's breath caught in his throat. "The fleet, they're still out there." "Yes," the Echo said, "waiting, watching. They've been waiting for the one who could control the core. They've watched every cycle, every failure, every attempt to escape. And now they're watching me." Rayan murmured, the weight of the truth settling in. "They want to see if I'll succeed, if I'll break the cycle, or if I'll become part of it, like you." The Echo nodded. "That's why I'm here. To give you the choice I never had." Rayan's chest tightened. "Choice." The Echo stepped closer, his voice quiet but heavy with the weight of centuries. "You can destroy the core, end the loop forever, but you'll lose everything. Your memories, your life. All the truth of what's happened here will vanish. You'll never remember any of it." Rayan's heart skipped a beat. "And if I don't destroy it?" "You can merge with the core," the Echo said, his eyes darkening. "You'll control it. You'll control time. You'll have the power to shape it, to trap others in your cycles. But in the end, you'll become part of the core too. You'll live forever, but never truly be free." Rayan swallowed hard. Both choices were terrifying. Destroy the core, but erase everything, or take control and become a prisoner to it forever. Neither was a true victory. "And the alien fleet?" Rayan asked. "What happens to them?" The Echo smiled bitterly. "They'll continue to watch. If you destroy the core, they'll lose their grip on the trap. But if you merge with it, they'll have what they've always wanted. Control over an immortal force, one of their own creation." Rayan's mind spun. He had always believed in one thing, survival. But now, the stakes had grown higher than he ever imagined. Humanity's fate was tied to his decision. No one else could make it but him. He looked at the echo, the old version of himself, a man who had made this choice long ago. What did you choose? The echo's eyes softened with a mix of regret and sorrow. I chose to stay, to control the trap. I thought I could save everyone. But I couldn't. I became part of the cycle. Then what's the point of it all? Rayan demanded. What's the point of breaking the loop if I just become another version of you? The echo's expression darkened. The point is, there's always a choice to break the cycle, even if it costs everything. Rayan stood frozen in place, the weight of his decision pressing down on him. Time was moving again. The air seemed to hum, the core's energy growing stronger with every second. The alien fleet was still out there, waiting. The echo took one last step toward Rayan, his face earnest. You can be the one to end it, to break the cycle. But you'll have to make a sacrifice. It won't be easy. Rayan turned toward the glowing center of the chamber, where the core pulsed with dark energy. He could feel its power, its pull. It wanted him. It wanted all of them. He glanced back at the echo, who was watching him silently, knowing that his choice would define the future of humanity. How do I know this is the right choice? Rayan asked, his voice barely a whisper. You'll never know, the echo replied softly. But sometimes, it's not about knowing. It's about believing. Rayan's hand hovered over the controls. His fingers twitched, uncertain. The weight of the galaxy felt like it was on his shoulders. Everything depended on this moment. His next move could either end the nightmare, or trap him and humanity in it forever. He took a deep breath, steeling himself for what he had to do. Without warning, a distant rumble shook the chamber. The core's pulse quickened. Time was running out. Rayan made his decision. But as he took his first step toward the core, the chamber shifted again. The walls seemed to twist, time stretching and snapping like an elastic band. The core flared to life. And in that moment, Rayan stepped into the light. But we didn't see what happened next. The silence was deafening. No alarms, no voices, no screams. Only the soft hum of life support systems and the endless cold view of Titan beneath them. The fleet drifted in orbit. 12 ships reduced to 7. Hulls scarred, engines bruised, crews shaken. But now, for the first time in weeks, there was peace. Commander Rayan Creed was gone. So was the alien structure. Inside the Ardent Hope, Mara stood at the main console, her eyes scanning the monitors. The signal from Titan had stopped, completely. No energy surges, no reality shifts, no hallucinations. Just quiet. She didn't trust it. Any sign of the commander? She asked softly. Lieutenant Harper shook his head. Nothing. We've scanned the surface 20 times. There's no trace of the structure. No heat signatures. Not even debris. It can't just vanish, Mara whispered. Things don't just vanish. And yet, Harper replied, it's gone, like it was never there. She stared at the pale moon below them. The place where everything began. The place that stole time, minds, and lives. Rayan had gone back into the structure, alone. He knew the risks. He saw the truth. And he still went. To end it. 3 days passed. Each ship reconnected with the others. Power was restored. Gravity balanced. Communications cleaned up. People began to talk again. They cried, laughed, repaired what they could. There was confusion, guilt, relief. Memories of the loops were fading, like fog lifting. Only fragments remained. A voice here, a scream there, a moment that felt like déjà vu. But no one wanted to talk about it. Not yet. In the Nova Strides medbay, Dr. Yelena stitched up a survivor who had been found in a sealed chamber near the lower decks, confused, dehydrated, and mumbling. They're not real. They wear our faces, the man whispered. Yelena pressed a cool cloth to his forehead. You're safe now. Just rest. But inside, She wasn't sure anyone was truly safe. On the silent echo, Captain Raimi stared at a log screen. Rayan's final message. It wasn't broadcast to the fleet. It was locked. A direct message, only accessible after full signal loss from Titan. The file played once. Rayan's face appeared, calm, serious. If you're seeing this, I didn't make it back. He looked away for a moment, then back into the camera. The structure isn't just a trap. It's a mirror, a mind. It copies, it learns, and it becomes. He paused. His voice shook a little. It knows us now. Every version, every fear, every memory. I saw what it was becoming, and I couldn't let it escape. He leaned in closer. So I stayed. I became the signal, the virus inside it. I fed it false loops, trapped it from the inside. He smiled faintly. If this works, it's gone. For good. Then he said one last thing. Tell them I remembered who we are. And that was enough. The screen went black. Captain Raimi stood in silence. Mara watched from the bridge as Titan rotated slowly below them, cold, silent, still. Then she noticed something odd. A small blinking signal from the planet's surface. Harper. He checked. It's just a beacon. Emergency code. No voice, no data. Can you trace it? Yes, but there's nothing down there. Not anymore. Mara stared at the signal. A single pulse, steady, patient, like someone waiting to be found. Her heart ached. Hope is dangerous, but so is forgetting. She tapped the console. Prepare a shuttle. I'm going down. The shuttle passed into Titan's thin atmosphere, quiet and steady. The ground below was covered in ice and silence. The crater where the structure once stood was now smooth. No marks, no ruins, just a shallow, frozen basin. The beacon sat alone in the center, flashing softly. Mara stepped out, her boots crunching the frost. The wind was still, the air thin and lifeless. She reached the beacon. It was old, Terran tech, human. Attached to it was a small plaque. She brushed the frost off and read. For Commander Rayan Creed, the man who stepped into the dark, so we could find the light. Tears filled her eyes. No voice answered, no message played, but somehow she felt him there. Not in body, but in spirit. In the silence he left behind. A silence filled with peace. Weeks later, the fleet began its slow journey back toward Earth. They had survived. Scars remained, some seen, some not. But they moved forward. People laughed again, shared stories, held hands, watched stars from the viewports. Children played in the cargo bays. The nightmare had ended. And yet, sometimes, in the dark corridors, when things were quiet, some claimed to hear a whisper, a voice saying, "Don't trust the silence." Far beyond Titan, deep in the void between stars, a flicker of light shimmered and vanished. A pattern, a ripple. The silence was deafening. No alarms, no voices, no screams. Only the soft hum of life support systems and the endless cold view of Titan beneath them. The fleet drifted in orbit. 12 ships reduced to 7. Hulls scared, engines bruised, crews shaken. But now, for the first time in weeks, there was peace. Commander Rayan Creed was gone. So was the alien structure. Inside the ardent hope, Mara stood at the main console, her eyes scanning the monitors. The signal from Titan had stopped, completely. No energy surges, no reality shifts, no hallucinations. Just quiet. She didn't trust it. Any sign of the commander? She asked softly. Lieutenant Harper shook his head. Nothing. We've scanned the surface 20 times. There's no trace of the structure. No heat signatures. Not even debris. It can't just vanish, Mara whispered. Things don't just vanish. And yet, Harper replied, it's gone. Like it was never there. She stared at the pale moon below them, the place where everything began, the place that stole time, minds, and lives. Rayan had gone back into the structure, alone. He knew the risks, he saw the truth, and he still went. To end it. 3 days passed. Each ship reconnected with the others. Power was restored. Gravity balanced. Communications cleaned up. People began to talk again. They cried, laughed, repaired what they could. There was confusion, guilt, relief. Memories of the loops were fading, like fog lifting. Only fragments remained. A voice here, a scream there, a moment that felt like déjà vu. But no one wanted to talk about it. Not yet. In the Nova Strides medbay, Dr. Yelena stitched up a survivor who had been found in a sealed chamber near the lower decks, confused, dehydrated, and mumbling. "They're not real. They wear our faces," the man whispered. Yelena pressed a cool cloth to his forehead. "You're safe now. Just rest." But inside, she wasn't sure anyone was truly safe. On the silent echo, Captain Ramey stared at a log screen. Rayan's final message. It wasn't broadcast to the fleet. It was locked. A direct message, only accessible after full signal loss from Titan. The file played once. Rayan's face appeared, calm, serious. "If you're seeing this, I didn't make it back." He looked away for a moment, then back into the camera. The structure isn't just a trap. It's a mirror, a mind. It copies, it learns, and it becomes. He paused. His voice shook a little. "It knows us now. Every version, every fear, every memory. I saw what it was becoming, and I couldn't let it escape." He leaned in closer. "So I stayed. I became the signal, the virus inside it. I fed it false loops, trapped it from the inside." He smiled faintly. "If this works, it's gone. For good." Then he said one last thing. Tell them I remembered who we are." And that was enough. The screen went black. Captain Ramey stood in silence. Mara watched from the bridge as Titan rotated slowly below them. Cold, silent, still. Then she noticed something odd. A small blinking signal from the planet's surface. "Harper." He checked. "It's just a beacon. Emergency code. No voice, no data." "Can you trace it?" "Yes, but there's nothing down there." "Not anymore." Mara stared at the signal. A single pulse, steady, patient, like someone waiting to be found. Her heart ached. Hope is dangerous, but so is forgetting. She tapped the console. "Prepare a shuttle. I'm going down." The shuttle passed into Titan's thin atmosphere, quiet and steady. The ground below was covered in ice and silence. The crater where the structure once stood was now smooth. No marks, no ruins, just a shallow, frozen basin. The beacon sat alone in the center, flashing softly. Mara stepped out, her boots crunching the frost. The wind was still, the air thin and lifeless. She reached the beacon. It was old, Terran tech, human. Attached to it was a small plaque. She brushed the frost off and read. "For Commander Rayan Creed, the man who stepped into the dark, so we could find the light." Tears filled her eyes. No voice answered, no message played, but somehow she felt him there. Not in body, but in spirit. In the silence he left behind. A silence filled with peace. Weeks later, the fleet began its slow journey back toward Earth. They had survived. Scars remained. Some seen, some not. But they moved forward. People laughed again, shared stories, held hands, watched stars from the viewports. Children played in the cargo bays. The nightmare had ended. And yet, sometimes, in the dark corridors, when things were quiet, some claimed to hear a whisper, a voice saying, "Don't trust the silence." Far beyond Titan, deep in the void between stars, a flicker of light shimmered and vanished. A pattern. A ripple. Like an echo. But there was no one there to hear it. Not yet.